Did you know that Pink Floyd's music catalog is estimated to be over $500 million? And they're talking about actually selling it? What's the benefit? I got 4 reasons. Let's check it out. So I have an article here in the Telegraph. I'm going to read a little bit to give you guys some context, and then I'll talk about 4 reasons why I think it could be a good deal for us. So Pink Floyd close to selling its back catalog despite band's bitter feud. So talks with Sony have allegedly resumed after a series of high-profile sales of music rights. Pink Floyd are closing in on a $500 million deal to sell its music rights to Sony, despite a bitter feud between the rock band's members. The legendary rockers who burst onto London's psychedelic scene in the 1960s first began discussing to sell the rights to their vast catalog. And I've been seeing this a lot. I think Bob Dylan sold his whole catalog. A few other well-known people, they're ready to let it go. And I'm digging deep to find out what's the benefits of that. Like, why are they letting go of their catalog? The catalog, which includes hits such as Another Brick in the Wall, everybody's favorite, and Money, attracted interest from several potential buyers, including rival record labels Warner Music and BMG. But the talk stalled amid a bitter dispute between band members, in particular guitarist David Gilmour and bassist Roger Waters, who have since forged successful solo careers. However, talks with Sony Music are understood to have resumed, and the record label is close to agreeing a deal. There has been an explosion in the music rights market in recent years, with high-profile artists including Bob Dylan, Neil Young, Katy Perry, and Justin Bieber all selling their back catalogs and deals worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I added it up. I was going to do a video on it, but I failed in my research. But it related to over $1 billion worth of catalog. That's incredible. Why are they letting it go? Is it they need the money? No. They don't want to manage it anymore. They don't want anything to have to do with it once they're gone. I don't know, but they spend so much time with their art, creating it and making it accessible. Now they want to give it away. I'm curious to know. This looks like this is going to be a trend moving forward. And if you got the cash, now's a good time to buy. Seriously. Let's read some more. The trend highlights the value of music rights in the streaming era as buyers look to squeeze more royalties from old songs by placing them in films and TV shows. That kind of makes a little bit of sense, right? Streaming isn't as lucrative to artists as we would like them to be, right? So if you have a massive, successful catalog, selling it, you get your value for it. And using it in TV and film is very lucrative. So that kind of makes sense. So take back what I said earlier. But the boom has slowed more recently as rising interest rates have driven up the cost of investments, raising doubts over whether Pink Floyd would be able to command a $500 million price tag. Sony, which secured a $700 million funding boost for catalog acquisition from private equity giant Apollo in July, it also snapped up Bruce Springsteen catalog and deal worth an estimated $550 million. Sony's renewed interest, first reported by the Financial Times, points towards a truce in the feud between Mr. Gilmour and Mr. Waters that previously hampered negotiations. Mr. Gilmour and his wife, Polly Sampson, who co-wrote lyrics to several Pink Floyd tracks, last year accused Mr. Waters of being an anti-Semitic, misogynist, Putin apologist. Those are pretty serious right there. It followed an interview the bassist gave to a Berlin newspaper which compared Israel to Nazi Germany and described the U.S. as the main aggressors in the Ukraine war. Wow. Speaking to Rolling Stone last month, Mr. Gilmour said it would be a dream to sell Pink Floyd's back catalog. He added, "I'm not interested in that from a financial standpoint. I'm only interested in it from getting out of the mud bath that it has been for quite a while." That makes sense, right? All the drama that goes into all of this stuff. And at the end, you have all this money and it's difficult to make a decision on what to do with it. Now, here are some of the things that I think make it a good deal. So one thing is increased accessibility. Once they sell it, so if Sony were to buy it, it would give it increased accessibility, making it available to a lot more people, because they're definitely going to get their money's worth, and they're going to make it more available to everyone instead of a limited market. Another aspect, part two, is licensing. Once a company like Sony buys it, they're going to license it out way more than, let's say, a band. Like they'll have it for, small TV, films. They're just going to make it just become so much easier to, get a license for it. So number two, it brings new opportunity for licensing, right? We'll be able to use it for TV, films, it'll just make it more accessible for everybody. So number three, preservation and legacy. This would allow whoever bought it, somebody like Sony Music, to actually preserve it, keep it going, so future generations will be able to access it, they'll be able to promote it, and just keep it relevant. Because imagine, unfortunately, if there aren't any more band members, we've seen this before, they're all gone, then there's always like a multi-year battle of who gets what and who gets to do what with what. Jimi Hendrix's estate is kind of going through the same thing right now. But if it was owned by a music corporation, it could be a good thing, right? And number four, potential changes to the releases, right? So once they acquire everything, unheard music, unseen concerts, whatever, all this stuff could become available to us, and the fans would actually love that. That would be something great, because that's something we don't see a lot of. Fans regard their stuff as unfinished or, unable to be heard by the masses. But this could potentially give us an opportunity. They could remaster some stuff. They can do some compilations with current artists, which would be kind of dope. And we would just have access to it a lot more. Well, those are my thoughts. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on Pink Floyd selling their catalog and all these other artists selling their catalog. Like, what's going on? Is it the music streaming? Is it greed? Or they just don't want to be bothered with it anymore? Leave a like and hit that subscribe button. Catch you on the next one. Peace.